Hello, my name's Alexis and welcome to our camping trip. Every single year I go camping with my friends. It's a tradition that we've been doing. I think this is our 8th year. Wow, I'm so old. But yeah, if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I love the outdoors, I love camping, I love hanging out with my friends, and I love a theme. So I thought, what better timing than to do a themed reading vlog around camping, outdoor, wilderness horror books, which are just one of my favorites. So I am taking you along for my trip and we're gonna read some spooky horror books, hopefully, and scare ourselves a little bit. So real quick before we leave, I thought I would give you our TBR for the long weekend. First up, we have This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer. This one is about a group of friends who go mountain climbing and they all go missing. And I think 3 of the bodies are found, but the 4th friend is like still missing. Nobody knows what happens. And I think this is told, yeah, it looks like it's kind of like journal entries. So I think we'll be following the friends and get the details of what goes wrong. I'm super excited for this one. This one is also the Full Moon Book Club pick for the month of August. Next up, because I'm trying not to be too ambitious, in years past I brought a whole stack of books and I just never end up getting to all of them. So we're gonna mix it up a little and we have 1 physical book, 1 ebook, and 1 audiobook. So our ebook for the trip is going to be The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. And this is kind of like a classic horror story about a creepy river in the woods. I just know that this is actually what inspired T. Kingfisher to write The Hollow Places, which is one of my favorite horror books ever. And it's pretty short, so I thought if it's a classic spooky wilderness horror book, I have to read it. Perfect pick for the vlog. And last up, we have my audiobook, which is going to be The Watchers by A.M. Shine. So I missed out and I never got to go see the movie earlier this year like I wanted to, but I think it's gonna work out because I like reading the book before the movie anyways. We're going to listen to this book on the drive down and back home probably. And then afterwards I can go watch the movie maybe if I like it. So this one says, the forest isn't charted on any map. Every car breaks down at its tree line. Mina's is no different. Left stranded, she is forced into the dark woodland only to find a woman shouting, urging Mina to run to a concrete bunker. As the door slams behind her, the building is besieged by screams. Mina finds herself in a room with a wall of glass, an electric light that activates at nightfall. When the Watchers come above ground, these creatures emerge to observe their captive humans, and terrible things happen to anyone who doesn't reach the bunker in time. So it's like wilderness horror. It sounds like it's going to be a creature feature. I'm so excited. I think that's it for now. We're going to be late, so we have to go. Welcome to the campsite. I have to be a little quiet because I'm still embarrassed about vlogging in front of my friends. So I am in my own little corner. We have 4 campsites and we all hang out on like the 2 that are connected. And then I'm across the way where we've been parking the cars and stuff. So hopefully none of them can hear me, but I wanted to check in because it is getting to be the evening of our first day. It's currently 5:50 p.m. and I've made it 50% of the way into my first book. So on the ride down, I started the audiobook for The Watchers by A.M. Shine, and I didn't get to listen to too much of it yesterday because obviously the first day of camping is kind of busy. We had to pack up the cars, we had to drive down here, we had to unpack the cars, set up the entire campsite. Wanted to check in because I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not loving it the way I thought I was going to instantly. It's definitely been a slow start. So in it, we follow a woman named Mina, and right in the beginning, she is hired to transport a live parrot to somewhere, a buyer, something. So she is driving through the forest to get to this location when suddenly her car just dies. Won't start, her phone won't work, nothing's working. Everything with a battery is just dead and refusing to turn on. So she's just kind of stranded in this like dark, secluded area with nowhere to go. So she waits around for a while, nobody comes down the road. She's getting to the point of starvation, so she decides to get out and take her chances with trying to find help. So she wanders for a while. She is literally like on the brink of death when another woman finds her, and her name is Madeline. And Madeline is like super scared, super rushed, is like, we gotta go right now, the sun is setting, let's go. So Madeline takes her to this basically like this house that has glass walls, and it's just got this super bright light in the center, like it's one room and you can just like see completely in there. And there are 2 other people there, I think. So Mina comes in and she's like, well, what's going on? Like, why did we have to get in here before the sun goes down? So the sun sets and this bright light turns on so that they are like lit up in the dark forest, and she meets the Watchers, which are these like humanoid-like creatures, figures that crawl their way out of holes in the ground and just sort of watch them. And the other people tell her, there's a man named Daniel and a woman named Kira. They tell her that like they don't know what the Watchers want with them. They just know that they cannot leave, because if you leave and the Watchers see you leaving, you die. They can leave the house during the daytime, but there's like no escape. There's no way to go get help. There's no way to find your way out of this forest. Like, they've tried and they always end up lost. They have to turn around before it gets dark so the Watchers don't come out and get them, because as long as they're in this like glass house, the Watchers can get in, but they don't bug them. They don't really understand why this is. They just know that they're safe in the house. So at this point, Mina's been there a little while now, and they're just really trying to like figure out, what do these Watchers want? How are they going to get to safety? Like, what's going on? How are they not going to starve to death? Because that's another thing. Like, no animals really venture towards this part of the forest because they can sense something weird is going on. So at this point, the man Daniel has been catching a lot of birds for them to eat, but like, it's very scarce. They are all like starving to death. And Madeline's actually been there the longest. She's been there 2 years. So like, this is serious. They are scared and they have nowhere to go. So all that sounds great, but at the 50% mark, I just thought more would be happening. We're just kind of getting like, I don't know, information about the daily life of them. Been no real like escape attempts. I don't even think we've gotten like a real description of the Watchers. We've gotten a few things here and there. We know they look human, but like longer. And then I think there was also a description of them walking on all fours, which is terrifying. But yeah, I was just expecting it to be a little creepier at this point, but we'll see. I'm still going with it. And then other than that, I have been reading the tiniest bit of This Wretched Valley on my Kindle. I do also have the physical edition, but it has been so damp. That's the other thing. It's been raining all day. This is the first point. It has not been pouring rain. So we have just been kind of hiding under our canopy playing board games today. We will do more fun activities tomorrow and the next day. But yeah, I didn't want to read my library copy in the rain, so I've been reading my Kindle. I'm not very far at all. I'm only 10%, so I'm liking it so far. The first chapter was kind of like the aftermath, so we already know these people are missing and 3 of the bodies have been found, but we don't know about the 4th body. And now at this point, I think I'm in like chapter 1, we went back in time to when the group like were first planning their trip, so we're now getting the like events of what led to their disappearance. So I liked the first chapter a lot. There was very graphic depictions of the bodies that were being found and what state they were in. It was just like, it was just really weird. Like, one of the bodies was a complete skeleton, which doesn't make any sense for the amount of time she was out in the wilderness. Like, she should not have been that decomposed, basically. And then the other 2 bodies that were found, they were like perfectly preserved, like as if they had been frozen, and it's the summertime. So there's just a lot of really weird stuff having to do with this group disappearance, and nobody really knows what happened. We're gonna figure out what happened, hopefully. I really like the description so far. So at this point of the night, we are going to get ready to cook dinner, and then it'll be dark. So I'll probably read a little bit more, and if I don't talk to you, I will talk to you more tomorrow. Hello, happy Sunday night. I have really sucked at checking in lately and reading. I did not read anything yesterday, I don't think. If I did, it was just a few pages of This Wretched Valley. So I always think every year that I'm gonna read so much more than I do. But that's okay. This vlog will just have to extend a little bit into getting home because I do still want to finish these 3 books. So I did start the 3rd book, The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. I am only a few pages in and it's very short. My Kindle's saying it should take me an hour and a half to read. So far, the language is just a lot. There's a lot of words I'm not understanding. I'm hoping I get more into it once I'm more than a few pages in, but right now I don't really understand what's happening, so we'll see. I'm gonna try and finish that one now. Other than that, it's our last night here. It's been very rainy this trip, which kind of sucks because it's a lot more fun when we can actually go do things. But we fit in a few activities, and as long as it's not raining tomorrow, we're hopefully gonna go on a hike. So maybe I'll be able to get some audiobook time in during the hike, and if not, we have the drive home. So I'm hoping to definitely finish The Watchers tomorrow. And then yeah, this Wretched Valley is just taking me a lot longer to get into than I thought, and I'm liking it. I'm just not like compelled to pick it up because I've been so busy this weekend. I don't know if I'll update you again tonight, maybe if I finish The Willows and have thoughts about it, but I'm confused, so that might be one that I have to kind of take some time to think about before I give you a rating on it. Good morning, happy Monday. We are now packing up the campsite. We're doing pretty good. Just have to load up the cars and break down the tent. We are sticking around today to do some hiking, so I'm hoping to get some audiobook listening in during the hike. I did not finish a single book this weekend. I didn't even finish The Willows last night. I did get about 30 something pages into it, and I liked what I was reading last night before I fell asleep. It definitely was giving like the eerie creepiness. So it is about a man who, I don't know if we have a name, or maybe I just missed it. So a man and his like traveling companion. I don't really know why they're on this island, but they're on this like island surrounded by a river, and there's all these willow trees, and they're camping like in the center of the island. There's like a hurricane going on too, so they're camping in the very center. They're surrounded by all these trees, and our main character wakes up in the middle of the night and thinks he sees something outside, and like the way I was understanding it was that like the trees were coming to life, sort of. There's just some really great creepy descriptions of the trees being very human-like. He keeps saying he feels like he's on an alien planet. There's nobody else on the island. There's some rumors that like the island is cursed or haunted, so people don't travel to it. So I am looking forward to finishing it. I was just too tired to get much read last night. So yeah, I've got some more cleaning up to do, and then we will be going on our hike together later. So the bad news is a 5-mile hike is a lot longer and harder than I was expecting it to be. I was thinking it'd take us like 2 hours. We're in hour 3, and I still think we have a while to go. The good news though is lots of time for audiobook listening. So I just finished The Watchers. I think I'm gonna go with a 4-star rating. I really liked it. I did guess the twist at the end, but I still like how it was done and how it was explained. Yeah, I will give you a better, fuller review once we get back to the car, but I liked it, and now I'm moving on to the audiobook for This Wretched Valley, and I'll let you know my thoughts when I get farther in it. Good morning. Onyx and Poe looks like a little chicken, and Milo's here too. I think, well, I guess the dogs were with me, but they're happy to be home, and I think Onyx missed me. So we are obviously home. Onyx, he's gonna climb on the table and make everything all shaky. Okay. So we are obviously home, and I thought it was time to give you my final review of The Watchers. So I am gonna stick with the 4 stars that I was thinking it was yesterday. I liked it a lot. I don't think it's not going to be a favorite of all time, but it was good. I think I would definitely recommend it to people looking for like creepy wilderness horror. It reminded me a lot of like the legend of skinwalkers here in the United States, but in the book they were calling them more like fairies and changelings, which I get. They're pretty similar-ish creatures. So I like the folklore aspect of the Watchers and all that. I liked the twist at the end. I said that yesterday, that I did guess what the twist was going to be. Not right from the beginning, but probably about like halfway through the book, I was like, oh, what if, you know? And I liked it. And then I liked how it was explained, because even though I was like, what if this is what happens, I didn't have an answer to the questions of how, if that makes sense. So I liked that. I liked how it all wrapped up. I liked the very ending. Like, it kind of set it up where there could be a sequel, but it was like also sort of an open ending, which I really like in like horror books. And then, oh, I don't think this is a spoiler, but if you want to know absolutely nothing about the book, just like mute me for a second. But one of my trigger warnings is like animal death. I am happy to say the bird did not die in this book, so that always just makes me happy. I guess the pacing was a little off, and that's probably why it's not a 5-star, but overall enjoyed it a lot. I'm excited to watch the movie. I've heard they changed the ending, so I'm not really sure how they would do that. I thought the book ending was very good, but we'll see. And then other than that, we have 2 books to finish today, which luckily I've taken today off of work. I don't go back until tomorrow. I do have a lot of cleaning up and getting ready to start my work week to do today, but I think I'll be able to squeeze in some reading. So I did listen to a bunch of the audiobook for This Wretched Valley on the second half of my hike yesterday. I've made it 44% of the way into the book. So at this point, I'm liking it. I'm actually surprised that I'm so far in, because we kind of just got our first like bad thing that happened, I guess. And I was kind of like, while I was listening to it, I thought it was a lot earlier. Like, I thought this bad thing happened at like the 25% mark, and I was like, oh, like we're getting into it fast. But like, no, knowing that we're 50% in and only this one thing has happened so far. But that one thing was brutal to listen to, so I liked that like it wasn't afraid to go there. And then so far in this one, there has not been an animal death that we know of, but there has been talks of like, what if, because the dog does go missing in this one, so what if this is what's happening to him? So a lot of the owner thinking about what could be happening, so that's been a little upsetting, but not too bad, because it's not actually like describing what's actually happening. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me it makes me feel better, because I also have those thoughts about like if my dog was missing, I would be the same way. I would be like, I don't care about anything else, I'm going to search for the dog. I don't care if I'm gonna get lost, like then I'll be lost too. Like, I am not stopping until I find my dog. And I would also be thinking just like worst case scenario, what could be happening? I want to like Dylan's character. She's kind of like our main female character. She's the mountain climber, and she is dating Luke, and his dog is the one that went missing. Like, I want to like her, but she's being very selfish. Like, if that was my partner and he wasn't, and he didn't care about my dog being missing and was just telling me to like just sit and wait for it to come back, like absolutely not. And like, I get it. I feel like the mountain or like the valley that they're in is messing with them. Like, right, that's what we're supposed to be gathering, is that something's messing with them. Not loving Dylan's character for that. And just like weird stuff is happening. Obviously, like the one injury scene we got, and then when the group is trying to leave and go for help, their GPS isn't working. So just like, we're getting into it now that the weird stuff is gonna start happening, and I'm just excited to see more. Like the beginning really set us up. This better be like a good explanation of how all this stuff happens. Hello, good morning. It's been a few days because I just haven't felt like reading. I definitely needed just a little bit of a mental break after just being exhausted from the camping trip. So I spent a few days just not reading. I binged a lot of YouTube. I watched a true crime documentary on Netflix. And it was just nice to give myself a little break because I am not a TV person. I am always reading or listening to an audiobook in my free time. So I just needed a 2-day break of not consuming any books. But I am coming in now to update you that I have finally finished This Wretched Valley. I also don't know if I showed you my bookmark, but I am obsessed. I thought Charlie was the perfect bookmark to take camping. And he just gives me camping dad vibes. So yeah, anyways, finished this morning. I listened to the audiobook. Last night I got to like page 250, so I didn't have much left to go today. And I'm kind of conflicted with this because I was loving the beginning and then it just kind of like fell flat. Like the first chapter kind of explaining like all of the hikers went missing. Here's how we found their bodies. Here are our theories. Like that was so good compared to like the actual explanation of what happened. Just fell flat. So I'm between a 3 and a 3.5 star. I think in my heart, it just feels like I have to go with a 3. Like, I don't know. Like it was fine. It was fine, but I don't think it was good, but it was a little disappointing. Like I just kind of hyped it up after that first chapter. I thought we were gonna get like a really good time, and I don't know, we didn't. Okay, what did I like about it? I like the gore. It was definitely a very descriptive, gory book the whole time. I liked just like the creepy atmosphere of not really knowing what's going on, being confused, being lost, things kind of changing, not really knowing if you can trust like what you're seeing because there were a lot of ghosts and like the landscape changing on them and them like walking in circles because the GPS wasn't working. So I liked the setting, I guess. If animal cruelty, death, all that bugs you, I was able to kind of stomach what happened in here, but just know that there are depictions. There's a dead squirrel for sure. There's a dead dog. There aren't scenes of like the deaths happening, but the characters find the bodies and kind of go into detail of what they look like, what happened to them, all that stuff. I don't know, just like the wrap up at the end, like it kind of let me down. I don't really have more to say than that. Then it fell flat. I was expecting a lot more. Unfortunately, a little bit of a disappointment, but not the worst book I've ever read, I guess. I mean, it was fun to read while camping and being in the woods and stuff. It was definitely fitting the atmosphere. I do have The Willows still to finish. I will maybe finish that later tonight, depending on if I feel like reading physically. And yeah, that'll finish up all of the books I wanted to read in this vlog. So I am going to go get back to work and I will talk to you when I'm ready to finish our last. Hello again. It has been a little while. For you, it's only been a minute. For me, it's been almost an entire month since I said I was gonna finish The Willows, and I haven't picked it up since. The goal for today is we are going to go to a local park where I know there are some willow trees, and I'm gonna set myself under one, and I am not leaving until I finish reading this book. So I did actually pick it up again last night, and I started it over from the beginning because I had no idea what was going on anymore. It's having the ambiance of sitting under a willow tree. I think it'll be just the perfect reading experience. So I think that's all the updates I had. Let's go to the park and finally finish this book. I did it. I finished the book. It got cold really, really fast out here, so now me and Milo are running back to the car. But I thought, because we have like a 10-minute walk to get back to the car, and probably longer because Milo likes to stop and sniff every single tree, I could give you my little review. I'm walking up a hill, so I'm out of breath right now. Okay, so never mind about that. There were way too many people in the park once I got up that hill. So we are back in the car, and thankfully I had a hoodie in here because I am an icicle. So, like I was saying, finished the book. Finally, very, very happy about that. I can't believe it took me like a literal month to read this 70-page book. Ridiculous, but I always do that with short books because I'm like, oh, that won't take long, and then I just put it off and like read one page at a time. So I was very happy that I went back to the beginning and started over, read the whole thing basically in one go. And I think overall I'm going to go with a 3.5 star rating. Like, it was fine, but like nothing really happened. But knowing the connections and knowing the inspiration that T. Kingfisher took from this story to put into her novel. So the good things about it, it had definitely a super, super creepy and eerie atmosphere. I really like that. There was kind of like this claustrophobic feeling because this main character and his traveling companion are on this island. They're kind of stuck there. It starts out that they're just kind of staying there for the night because there's a hurricane passing through and they don't want to be out on the water. And then quickly they wake up the next morning and something has messed with their things. They can no longer leave the island. And that's on top of our main character being awoken in the middle of the night and hearing weird things that he can't explain, seeing things he can't explain, and just, yeah, it definitely had sort of like that movie, The Lighthouse. Like, is what we're experiencing really happening, or is our main character going mad? And because we have two characters both kind of confirming what the other one is seeing and both experiencing this, we can assume that these weird things are really happening. But I don't think I would widely recommend it to everybody. I think if you really like classic horror stories, if you really liked The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher and you're interested to see where she got the inspiration from, if you really like slow, eerie horror stories where there's not too much action, but it just kind of leaves you with an unsettling feeling, this one could be for you. I did like the ending. There was kind of like the tiniest little twist, or at least I wasn't expecting it. So, and it definitely upped like the horror factor. It was sort of a horrific scene to end the story. So yeah, I'm just so excited that I was finally able to finish this camping book, even though not in the correct camping setting. At least I could finish it under a willow tree in nature, and it definitely just added to the experience and the atmosphere of the story. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave me the tent emoji. That can be our emoji of the video. Hope you enjoyed our little camping trip, and as always, I hope you read a good book today, and I will see you soon in my next one. Bye.